Oh, straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
I hope you're doing great today. I'm Rupha Ramani and you're watching Firstpost. Now, it's difficult to be at your best consistently for months, years on end. That is why sport is cruel and yet so rewarding. You're celebrated when you win and not so much when you lose. In a country that exalts some sporting heroes a little more than the rest, it's important to give a reminder once in a while of the history and also narrate the story of resurgence. So while it is always great to remember Indian hockey's Leslie Claudius, who's won most medals, it's also critical to remember those who did not win too many but are a part of the rich tradition and left a mark on generations to follow, like a Dhanraj Pillai or even P.R. Srijesh. So on our lineup today, Indian men's hockey team beat Singapore in their group encounter this morning, and the Indian women's team is gearing up for their first match tomorrow. We look at Indian men's hockey journey at the Asiad and what India has achieved at this global event in the past. What is the team shaping up? How is it looking? We also have an exclusive interview from the hockey camp in Hangzhou. The final one-dayer between India and Australia will be played in Rajkot tomorrow. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Kuldeep Yadav all get ready to hit the ground in the final one. Shubman Gill and Shardul Thakur are rested. The build-up to the World Cup continues in Rajkot as well as right here on Firstpost. And we get you all the latest of what's going on in Hangzhou. What's the medal count like? What are the latest results for India, especially a historic gold that they won early today? All that and more from the Asian Games. RI continues on the Asiad. All of that is coming your way, but here's what's making the headlines from around the world in Sports 360. Pakistan's cricket squad were issued visas to travel to India finally. The Pakistan team will arrive in India tomorrow for the Cricket ODI World Cup. Pakistan will play their first warm-up match against New Zealand. However, the BCCI has said fans won't be allowed inside the stadium in Hyderabad. That match will be played in closed doors due to security concerns. Over in football, in Ligue 1, host Paris Saint-Germain beat Marseille 4-0. Ashraf Hakimi scored early in the 8th minute to give PSG an early lead. Striker Kylian Mbappe suffered an ankle injury and was forced off the field before half-time. PSG increased their lead with a goal in the 37th. In the second half, Goncalo Ramos, who replaced Mbappe, scored a double for PSG as they put a commanding display. Moving to tennis, Alexander Zverev has reached the final of the Chengdu Open in China. The 26-year-old German will now face unseeded Russian Roman Safiullin. If he wins, this will be Zverev's first hardcourt title since the Nitto AP Finals in 2021. And another sporting event comes to China. The country will host two opening events in the Diamond League in April. The league will start on the 20th of April in Xiamen. The next venue in China will be Shanghai. Now let's start our show with hockey today. India boasts of a very strong hockey tradition. It is one of the oldest sporting disciplines the country has played and been a part of. And it is one that India has been most successful at. India was the dominant force in hockey, winning medals at the biggest stage, whether it was Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, or even the Olympics, a force that the world recognized and had to reckon with. But along with the changing pace of the sport, the rules, India too underwent a sea change of fortunes. After the highs came the serious lows, and you could sense that more so with the results too. It wasn't just that, the format of the sport itself had changed, so much so that hockey itself had become more about tactics than skills, something that went against what India's biggest strength always was. So let's just look at the Asian Games itself and Indian men's hockey. The sport featured in every single edition. India struck their first gold, in fact, in 1966. Those were the glorious times of the most fierce India-Pakistan rivalries. Then a few losses to Pakistan, but they made it to every final. Till the 1986. That's when they settled for bronze. India won gold a second time in 1998 by beating South Korea, another strong Asian force. The worst performance came in 2006 when they finished 5th. That was part which coincided with a period of slump for Indian men's hockey. India managed to rise to win gold in 2014, and the last edition in 2018 saw India finishing third. And this time, the pressure is immense. The momentum, though, is with them. Coming on the back of a strong performance at the Asian Champions Trophy that India won at home, beating Malaysia in the final. But now the task is steep because the incentive is a berth in the Paris Olympics next year, a direct ticket. And that's only possible with a gold here at Hangzhou. So what are the challenges the Indian men's team face when it comes to the Asian Games? Now they are in Group A. That's what the group looks like. They have Japan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Singapore, Uzbekistan. For company, India have managed to beat Uzbekistan and Singapore by huge margins, 16-0 and 16-1. 16-1, the one in Singapore against Singapore was earlier this morning. What a strong way to start the campaign. In fact, this is what skipper Harmanpreet Singh said post the second group win today.
The match against Singapore went very well. We have performed really well in the first two games. Our next focus is on beating Japan.
And of course, like Harmanpreet said, the next challenge will be against Japan, the reigning Asian Games champion, and a team that gave India quite a fight at the Asian Champions Trophy too. Though India has enjoyed a certain dominance over Japan, joining me in the Mic Up segment today is the relatively new coach of the Indian men's hockey team. He's tasted success in his first tournament itself, and with Paris in sight, there's a lot that is on his plate. Craig Fulton, thank you so much for speaking to us here on Firstpost.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Craig, first up, gold ensures qualification for Paris. Is that added pressure on the boys?
I think it depends on how you look at it. Of course, we want to qualify. Of course, we want to go to Paris. So you have to qualify somewhere. You know, there's two routes to qualify. One is direct through Hangzhou, this Asian Games, and the other one is the continental qualifier in January. So if all goes well, we want to qualify through here and stand on the podium and get that gold medal. That's the plan. That's what we're trying to do. Does it bring extra pressure? No, because all roads lead to here. You know, we have to qualify somewhere. So at the same time, we're training for it. We're aware of it, and we're in a good place. So that's a real positive for us.
Now, a great Asian Champions Trophy campaign that concluded recently. What are the positives that you got from there?
Yeah, it was a really good experience for everyone involved. I think we had a squad of 26 at that tournament. So we had just come from Spain, a Four Nations in Spain, and had flown in like literally 2 days before and then started our first game. So it wasn't ideal from a training and a planning perspective, but it was a good exercise because we changed the group from the Spain to the Asian Champions Trophy team. Akash flew in and Jugraj flew in as well. They met us there. So it was just a good opportunity to get 26 players across competition and give them all an opportunity. So the positives, we played well and we grew in the tournament. We had a big challenge in the final, which was good for us. We were 3-1 down at halftime and regrouped and won the game 4-3, which was nice. Nice to have that in the memory bank. But at the same time, it was just a very good experience for staff and the team to have a competition of consequence, play at home. There's always expectation at home, same thing. But now a lot of our games and tournaments will be outside of India. We always have the extra man, the 12th man being at the crowd and everything that goes on in a tournament in India. Now we have to go and produce that same performance and same intent outside of India. So that's a nice challenge.
Now, we've seen them adapt to your defense tactics. What is your ideology and how do you see India benefiting from it really?
So I like scoring goals. I'm an attacking coach. But what's the point of attacking if you can't defend? So on the day you don't score 3 goals and you lose 4, you lose 4-3 anyway. So sometimes it's great to play nice hockey, but if you keep losing playing nice hockey, I don't really buy into that. So the ideal scenario, the ideal world and the ideal scenario for us is to play a defend to counter-attack to win style of hockey. So we have our house in order defensively. We can attack and counter from everywhere. And if we lose the ball, we do it again and we do it again and we do it again. So there's an emphasis on defense first. That's the whole philosophy. So it's not that we can just attack with no consequence, no accountability to if we turn over or how we turn over and where we turn over. So that's just a fresh new way of looking at it, and the guys are buying into it. It does take a lot of work. It's not easy, but that's why we train every day. So yeah, it'll take time, but we're definitely getting there.
Now, speaking of time, Craig, continuity in coaching is so important. How do you see that playing out, especially when it comes to consistency in results?
Well, I just think just to hit on to what you just said there, with the diversity in India and the culture as well, it's also its strength because of the different blended experience of hockey academies across the country and what they bring, what they teach. It's different. So on one hand, yes, it's great to have everyone doing exactly the same thing, but at the same time, your strength is in your difference. So continuity point of view, from now on, I mean, I'm only been here like 4 or 5 months. So it's really, really early in what we already got a qualifying tournament coming up now this week. So it's been full on trying to just, wouldn't say educate, I would just make aware of a different way of playing the game. And, the guys know a lot of hockey, they know a lot of tactics, they've played different ways before, but this was just an ideal scenario to put defense on the map, to make sure that individually and collectively we're very, very organized. And continuity would be to help that and spread that into the under-21 program, so that there's also a link between that and then the sub-juniors. And then before I see the next group of players, that they're already busy with that. That would be ideal for me, but that takes time to instill. That takes time to obviously get across the line. But continuity is important. It's very important.
Now, you're speaking of the future, but we also have to speak of the past. From that period of slump that saw Indian hockey in, what's been the biggest change that you've seen, especially right up to this point?
Well, to be fair, I think in this last decade, perhaps probably from 2015, 2016, where the team finished, I think it was 8th in Rio. And then if you look at a following cycle, 5 years, they finished 3rd. And then now we ranked 3rd and have kept that, So this last block has been very, 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 very positive for Indian hockey. I mean, if you're comparing it to from before the 80s with all the gold medals and the 6 gold medals, and that obviously that's not realistic because there's a modern day hockey and how fitness has changed, how everything has moved onto Astro, and it's a different world now. And at the same time, it's a lot harder to keep your consistency at the top because there's a lot of good teams that have that same approach, same philosophy around playing top hockey. And Europe sits with a lot of the powerhouse teams, as the ranking suggests. But I think the upswing about it is they've got good people in place and had good people in place. The previous coaching staff, the previous what they put down from a fitness point of view, from Rio into Tokyo into now, I think it's been a continuous. It's climbing up the stairs. It's not going down the stairs. It's going up. It's on an upward cycle for sure. And the future is bright because the group is now kicking in. The group's got a bit more youth in it, but at the same time, it has all the experience that it had before. So it's a nice blend at the moment. And the guys are very, very confident of where they're at, and they're very ambitious as well. And that's really important.
Well, is it also fair to say that India is now a mentally tougher side?
Like mental toughness, there could be 1,000 ways to describe that word. It's just how you handle the big moments and how prepared you are for those moments. And when people know that the moment is now, that they are able to step into that, with the same confidence that they know they have. I just think it's different. I just think we're putting a new Indian way in place. Paddy Upton's come on board to help in that space. I think the leadership group is more settled in the way that they're playing and how the team in the squad is selected, and everyone knows that these are the criteria. And I think across the board, it's a very, very competitive but healthy competition in the squad. So the training sessions are really, really good, really, really high level, and that's building a lot of what we do every day.
Now, of course, one area of concerns possibly have been the penalty conversions. Is that something that also is a concern, or what else is a concern for the team?
I think we're a very well-rounded team. We're good on the ball, good off the ball. The fitness has improved. Goalkeeping is good. Set pieces are good. I think it's always going to be about converting chances, field goal chances. That will always be something that we're trying to improve. But like I said, when teams play with 10 players in the D or 9 players back, there's a lot less space. So that doesn't happen all the time. But different oppositions play differently. So we'll just have to take it one game at a time. But from a coach's point of view and a player's point of view, we're always trying to convert more chances to goals. That will always be something that we want to work on.
Right, we are wrapping up this interview, but we want to put you on the spot before we let you go, Craig. Looking at the Olympics now, how would you rate this particular side as a gold medal prospect?
Well, like I said before, like you have an ideal goal and a realistic goal. An ideal goal is to win Olympic gold, Olympic World Cup, Olympic Commonwealth Games. Like those are the reasons you're in the sport, is to try and push yourself as far as you can. Realistic comes down to your current form. Where are you ranked right now? So where are we ranked? 3rd. So if you think of the last 4 or 5 months, we got to 3rd. Where are we in the world? Right now we're 3rd. Does that put us on the podium for a gold medal? Not just yet. Is the potential? Of course. Of course it's there. But right now, Paris and the Olympics is still far away. We've got a really important job to do right here.
All right, thank you so much, Craig. We know the weight of the world's on your shoulders and that of the team, but we always wish you well. Now let's move on to cricket. Now India is all set to take on Australia ahead of that 3rd one-dayer in Rajkot. That's scheduled to take place tomorrow. And India has an unassailable 2-0 lead. Now let's take a look at some key updates from both camps. India has checked all the boxes when it comes to the batting and the bowling. Now Mohammad Shami came good in the first one-day with a fifer. The second saw a run fest thanks to Shubman, Shreyas and Suryakumar. All 3 of them really hitting the stride ahead of the World Cup. And of course, the Indian spinners too dug deep. Ashwin's performance giving the selectors much to think about and some more headaches to solve before the World Cup begins. And for Australia, it has not been a happy hunting ground. Coming from a 3-2 loss against South Africa, despite leading 2-0, they are now down to facing the battle against India in this series. The preparation to World Cup has not gone according to plan. A lot of teams peak during a big tournament. So that is something that Australia will be telling themselves. But there are a few concerns. The batting especially that of the top order, that has not been consistent, and the absence of Travis Head there is telling on the team combination. The bowling too has looked below par. Some of their key bowlers haven't had much time under the belt, especially in the longest format, and will have little time to get their sync going. Australia will have 2 warm-up games lined up, one against Netherlands, that's going to be on the 30th of September in Thiruvananthapuram, and the second against Pakistan in Hyderabad on the 3rd of October. Now both teams addressed the media ahead of the decider. Let's listen in.
Obviously the priority is the World Cup, so if that means we have to be mindful of tomorrow, that's one thing, but we'll see how today goes, see how I pull up in the morning. The goal is to play tomorrow, but what that looks like will depend on how today goes, the priority being the World Cup and not compromising that. Yeah, Glenn's obviously one that's come back as well. He's here today for training. I think he's on track as well. I'm not sure his particular timeline, but no doubt he'll be looking to make an impact as soon as he gets his chance. He's got a wealth of experience over here through IPL, through multiple tours. He's certainly an X factor, no matter which team he plays in. So, look, what's this? His third one-day World Cup. So yeah, look, he's certainly an X factor for us. He's someone who can really take the game on. His ability with the ball, particularly in these conditions as well. So yeah, it's still obviously leading into a World Cup. It's not a position that we want to be in. He's down in series, but plenty to play for tomorrow in terms of what our makeup of the team looks like, what we want to take into a World Cup campaign. We've still got 2 opportunities after this game before game on the World Cup. So another chance to be accustomed to conditions, to adapt to what's been thrown at us against probably the favourites of the World Cup. So yeah, look, it's a big day for both teams tomorrow. discussions going on around games, around training, pretty much just in the background. Nothing formalised as yet. Probably think our execution's been a bit off with bat and ball and in the field. So certainly areas we can improve. Probably our power play bowling as well. As I said again, there's been guys that have been exposed to conditions that have been very foreign to them. Guys that have been to India for the first time. Guys playing, coming into guys that have been more experienced, less experienced in the format. So a good opportunity for a lot of guys coming back from some time out. I think another opportunity tomorrow to improve on where we've been at, and obviously death bowling is part of that.
A lot of players who are sick, not available. A lot of players have personal problems, so they've gone home, and few of the guys are rested as well. So we've got 13 players at this point in time. Aksar obviously is not available for this game. We've got only 13 players to choose from. So, and there's a bit of viral going around in the team as well. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the team at this point, which we cannot help. Looking at the next few weeks, it's quite important for us to look after the players and their well-beings. So it's okay for them to be home at this point in time, but the reason being, obviously we want everybody to be fresh during the World Cup, and hopefully they can come back fresh. I'm very happy with the last 10 ODIs we played. A lot of guys came back into the form, scoring lots of runs, and the bowlers taking lots of wickets. In the last few games we saw guys who have come back from injury as well. They've proven their fitness. So pretty much settled at this point in time with how we stand, where we stand. So it's just about now taking this whole situation of the team forward in a best possible way. Ashwin, he's got the class, he's got the experience of playing the sport and handling the pressure. It's just that he hasn't played ODIs in the last year or so, but you cannot take away the class and the experience that the individual has over the years. And in the last couple of games we saw how well he bowled. He's got a lot of variation up his sleeves, in case there is a chance, obviously we can look at a lot of things. So hopefully the way things are at this point in time, it does well for us, because we've got all the backups and everything ready as well. We've given them enough game time, a lot of time in the middle as well. So pretty much happy with how things have planned out in the last couple of weeks.
Well, all eyes will surely be on this match before action, as they say, shifts over to the World Cup. But action is underway since last week at Hangzhou, with all the athletes from all over Asia gathered to participate in the Asian Games. And as always, we have all bases covered. And before we get you all the latest, let's quickly show you what the medal tally looks like. China, of course, no surprises there, sitting on the top of that points table or the medal tally table with 45 golds. Korea coming in second, Japan, Uzbekistan, Hong Kong, China, India there in the 6th position with that historic 3rd gold. Now, that's what you want to know about, of course. So here is the roundup of all the latest from the Asian Games.
Let's start with Asian Games updates. Team India clinched a historic gold in the equestrian dressage team event. The country was represented by Sudipti Hajela, Divyakriti Singh, Hriday Chheda and Anush Agarwal. This is the first equestrian medal for India in 41 years. They registered a score of 209.205 points to grab the top spot. Now on to some of the results from earlier today. In the men's hockey event, India stormed past Singapore 16-1. Captain Harmanpreet Singh scored 4 goals and was the highest scorer. The Indian hockey team will next play Japan on the 28th of September. Over to swimming. India's men's 4x100 meters medley swimming team put up a sensational performance. The quartet came second in their heats and clocked a time of 3 minutes 40 seconds. That was India's best ever time recorded in a 4x100 medley men's event. Now they're through to the final race of the men's 4x100 meters medley. India secured a medal in martial arts at the Hangzhou meet. Naurem Roshibina Devi defeated her opponent from Kazakhstan in Wushu in the quarterfinals. She qualified for the semi-final after defeating her opponent by a gap point. Naurem Roshibina Devi hails from Manipur and has won bronze for India at the 2018 Asian Games as well. In sailing, Neha Thakur won silver on day 3 of the Asian Games. She came in second in the girls' dinghy event. Indian sailor Ebad Ali brought a bronze in the RSX men's category. However, in fencing and shooting, India missed out on medals. Star fencer Bhavani Devi was dismissed in the quarterfinal. She lost 7-15 to the reigning Asian silver medalist Xiao Yachi. Divyansh Singh Panwar and Ramita Jindal lost in bronze medal matches. This was in the 10-meter air rifle mixed event.
But time to say goodbye, but not before last serve, as you've been seeing every day. We look at something monumental today that's happened in Formula One. Take a look. Wow, that was some moment there for Jessica Hawkins and all of us watching her go. Some need for speed. But that's all the time we have here on First Sports. We hope you enjoyed this as you have all this while. Keep watching and goodbye.